Cool little background ain't there. Uh-oh. Say hi, Brian.
Hello. Oh,
There we
hey, there we go.
go.
There
Well,
we go.
thank y'all for hanging out with me with this technical difficulty. Like, I literally had an issue with this program last night and then went through everything and everything was fine. And then I had a Two Fat Guys podcast moment. So, anywho, Brian, hello. How are
Hi.
you?
We're back again, like we never left.
Yeah, it's all good. How you doing?
I'm doing. It's Friday, TGIF, and
Look,
I am on a 3-day weekend, so I am awesome.
okay, good. Well, we excited for Fridays. They're always great. So thanks for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me as the
Appreciate
only guy again.
you be fine. It's
The
only women.
shenanigans are going to again.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm
You'll be
going
fine.
to represent for all the guys.
All right, my next guest, she is the co-owner of Soup Solutions, a mobile food shop serving delicious meals. Like they have this new jerk chicken loaded baked potato that I just saw come across
Oh,
their Facebook page. So I need to get in on that. They have several drinks. They have sea moss. They have several flavors of teas and lemonades, and they are super delicious because I've had a few of them. She is also the co-owner of Cultural Essence. It is a body care line, a natural body care line that features natural and organic care for body, hair, and skin. And she has a mobile CPR service called Voices, Hearts, and Hands. She is a very good friend of mine, Miss Keisha Barnes, Mrs. Keisha Barnes. Hey, she is a married woman, y'all. Hello, Keisha. How are
we don't care.
you? I'm good. Wonderful to have you. Thank you for joining us this evening. All right. And then we have our new person. She is a rescuer of senior dogs with arthritis. She is also a HR professional. She is finishing a master's degree in HR. She is a mother of 5 kids, married to a Navy man who right now is owned by the U.S. government. And she has a fascination with relationships, intimacy, and human behavior. She is a first time guest on the show. So let's give a round of applause to Mrs. Kaylee Martin. Hello. How are you? Okay. They just always follow you wherever you go, right?
It's almost as bad as my kids. Um, they love me because they're mama's boys, but my dogs, they are my shadows. I cannot even use the bathroom without them just being like, "Hey, mom, I'm in here." So there's no point in closing the door anymore.
Oh
It
my
just is what
goodness.
it is. But yes, I
Everybody.
love them. The senior dogs, the acquisition of them, much to my husband's dismay. Um, it has caused many contentious arguments, especially because I don't ask permission first. I just bring them home. Um, yeah.
Gotta love it though. It's probably super, super interesting to have kids and dogs all at the same time.
Yes. Well, because the dogs, they're really obedient. My kids aren't. Um, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I love my
knowing how to
kids.
go.
I do. It's just when you have a range from like 13 to 3, and morning drop offs become like a relay race with three, them in 4 different schools. Having the dogs to just like sit with me or lay with me and cuddle and just love without anything in return. Not that it's bad when the kids do it, but it's a little bit different. They don't demand anything from me other than food and maybe pets.
Yeah, see, now all of y'all have kids, so, and then you and Keisha have dogs. So,
I have adults.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're empty nester when
I
it
have
comes to
both.
kids. So
The best way to go. The best way to go.
yes, yes.
Listen.
So
Yeah,
no
my
kids,
age
but
range is sporadic.
the dogs give you all of the kid vibes still, right?
Yes, they do.
All right. And then last and definitely not least is our recent graduate from her CNA program. She is working on an LPN in the works. She is a poet. She is an author and the host of the Erotic Nights podcast, a Two Fat Guys podcast production. Everybody say hello to Sugar Cookie, Miss Courtney Donaldson.
Hello,
Courtney,
everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing
hello.
this evening?
Hey, Courtney.
Glad to be here. I was like, I saw the flyer for. I was like, oh, I got to be on that show. I actually took off from my full time job just to be on here.
Hey,
Oh,
listen,
wow. That's
listen.
dedication.
I appreciate it.
I needed a break from them anyway, so.
That's the
All
life.
right. So, as people have probably guessed from all of our posts, our show title this evening is Let's Talk About Sex Without Being Weird. This conversation and this topic has kind of been in the back of my mind just because there are two very distinct ends of the spectrum. There is the spectrum where we talk about sex in its most vulgar kinds of ways. And then there's the other end of the spectrum where we don't really talk about it a whole lot at all. So I would like for us to meet somewhere in the middle to be able to have this conversation. Now,
Yeah.
I know when it comes to some of these questions, it might go a little left, and that's okay. But we want to be able to listen to everybody's perspective, and all of those types of things. This is a safe space. So, however you want to share what it is that you have to say, I'm cool with that. I'm sure the audience is too. So let's go ahead and jump right into our questions. So this is round one. Before we get into the conversations, we got to figure out where we learned
Are you
about.
structured?
Getting prepared. Getting
Oh,
prepared.
you getting prepared. Okay.
Cracks knuckles.
All right, y'all. Don't be falling out on me now. All right.
Hey,
So
listen,
what?
we got Erg in the comments. We got Erg in.
Eric, is he already starting? I
You
Not
got.
got
yet.
Kevin
He
in
ain't
you
started
got
yet.
Kevin in the comments.
I
Come
can't
on, we
with
got
Eric.
Kevin.
Lord have mercy. They already eyes looking.
Right.
Lord have mercy.
That's what I
All right.
said. You got Kevin in the comments, so it's already shenanigans.
Yeah, Eric's the one I'm worried about. So first question of the night: what messages about sex did you receive growing up, and how have those messages shaped how you think about sex and sexuality as an adult? Shoot from the hip, anybody.
I'll go first. Um, so I guess the message I got from my parents in church was basically sex is for your husband. End of discussion. There wasn't really a sex education sequel where someone came back and explained the rest of the plot, like what we didn't learn about then. So I also learned very early that there were different rules for females versus males. Dress too provocatively, and you're a slut. Sleep with multiple guys, and same thing. Basically, there was a pretty narrow line between being appropriately feminine and becoming a community cautionary tale. But my brother's version was much different. He got wrap it up. No babies, no diseases.
Yep.
Um, Also, while being exposed to adults who were doing things that didn't necessarily line up with what we were being taught. So I grew up with this bizarre combination of sex is sacred and belongs in marriage, and here are the adults around you that are behaving very differently. So to me, that made sexuality feel less like a normal part of being human and more like this giant moral minefield that I was supposed to somehow navigate without being given a map.
Okay. Anybody else?
So I
It was almost.
actually.
Oh, go ahead, Keisha.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I
No, go ahead.
actually I learned self disclosure. We're all adults. I learned from sex. I learned about sex from porn.
My
Okay.
Mhm.
dad had a locked desk when we were kids, where where we were supposed to be all the time. My brothers, Damon, being the
Jesus.
spearheader, was like,
Oh
"Let's
Lord.
find this lock," and I was like, "Cool." At the risk of my dad perhaps seeing this, haha, we got in there, and they were selling quarter shows in the basement to their friends. And while I was not
Wow.
necessarily allowed to be in the room, I could see from the back of the basement what was going on. So I saw enough to educate myself.
The Lord has
And
mercy.
then the message, very much like Kaylee, don't do it. Sex is bad. It is horrible. You'll go blind. We heard all kinds of we heard all kinds of crazy stuff. Like um, my brothers were told in conjunction with intercourse that masturbation would cause blindness
Okay.
if done
Okay.
too soon
Yeah, I've
or
heard that one too.
early or whatever the case was. You'll go blind, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go blind. I can't do anything. And of course, my brothers are 3 and 5 years older than me, so I really had no business. Like I think I was like 6. Like I really had no business seeing any of this, but I did. And the message behind and learning the message after several years passing,
Hmm.
that my parents decided to say anything about it. It was a cautionary tale for me. No, no, don't. It wasn't even a marriage thing in there. Like I never really saw my parents be physically affectionate or intimate too much. So to me, it was like, oh, sex just only belongs on porn, and so unless I'm a porn star, nothing's happening over here. Very,
Li-
very twisted learning.
Listen, I just got a whole different concept of your father and your brothers.
We'll have the rest of that conversation offline.
Yes, that's a sit down and have a drink conversation. Brian.
I mean, is with me, for those who know, like my siblings are so much older than me. Like, there's this 18, 19-year difference between my oldest brother. So I always had those conversations with them. They was always the ones who try to introduce me to girls and tell me about sex and stuff like that. And I think Kevin said it in the comments. My dad was like, "Yeah, here, just don't bring me no babies," because he was already them in these glasses. He was already a grandfather before I was born.
Wow.
So it was the whole precautionary tale. Like, if you're going to do it, just be careful when you do it, because I don't want to be a grandfather again. So yeah, it was always just like I never had the quote birds and bees sit down, let's talk about it. It was always the precautionary, don't do it. If you do it, this is going to happen. If you do it, that's going to happen. So, but yeah, those conversations with my brother was yeah, I could write a book on that.
Okay. So it seems like from what everybody's saying, like a lot of what shaped kind of your thought process about sex is mostly family and the
Yeah,
interactions that you had with family. Is that safe to say?
yeah,
Pretty,
absolutely.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So let's jump to this third question. What do you wish the adults or faith leaders in your life had explained about sex instead of leaving it for you to figure out?
Just
I
be
wish somebody
truthful
had
about it.
explained that, like, sex is for marriage is not the entire education on sexuality. Like, that's the boundary.
Hmm.
It doesn't answer any of the other questions that come up. I wish somebody had explained that sexual desire is normal. The difference between wanting somebody physically and like lust and limerence, how to connect and emotional intimacy and all that stuff. That is also conveniently missing from a lot of what we learn about sex.
Eric is out of control.
Eric is out of
Yeah,
control. He's always out
yeah,
of control. I love him,
yeah,
but he's
yeah.
out of control. Out of control.
Everybody knew Eric. Everybody need mhm.
Yeah, out of control. Um, Brian, Keisha, either of you want to answer that question?
Brian, please.
Yeah, yeah. Again, just tell the whole story. Like you said, like with the whole people saying marriage is the end all. You have to do it. Yeah, I mean we get that, but I want to know everything. I wanted to know everything about it, especially as a kid. You're so curious. And I was one of those kids where I was curiosity sometimes got the better of me. But if you told me the whole story, then I wouldn't really have a reason to explore it as much as I did if I knew what I was getting into.
Hmm.
Thankfully, I am not one with a lot of wayward children. Nothing against those that do, but I was smart enough, and I guess my father scared all of Christ into me with the whole, be careful. I don't want no more grandbabies. That's a story for another show. But yeah, just be true. Just be truthful with me. Just tell me all that it entails. Yeah, I get say sexual before marriage, but I want to know the why. I want to know why does it have to be like if I really like this girl and my body is telling me I like this girl, then why I can't tell me the why. So I think that's part of what a lot of people me as a kid wanted to know
Okay.
from a lot of the adults.
All right, let's move into round two. I'm rather excited about this part because I really want to hear y'all's opinions on this. Not that I didn't before, but this is the part of it that I think is the section of the conversation that really skews very far to the left when it comes to
Hmm.
the conversation about sex, because if you grew up in the 90s, you remember purity culture,
Hmm.
where it was about the purity rings and the Jonas Brothers and all of this
Nah,
extra stuff
I ain't
that was
on it.
just uh,
I
hyper
ain't on
left
it.
about purity. And it was kind of like the drug equivalent of scared straight.
Hmm.
And it caused people to engage in some things that I still don't understand fully why we thought that was okay, and putting things in holes and orifices that I still to this day do not understand why we even thought that was a place for it to go. But uh,
Oh, here we go.
yeah.
Here we go.
So, what
Woohoo.
do you think faith communities have taught well about sex, and where do you think they've missed the mark?
I think they missed it altogether.
Thank
I
yes,
I was
can't
getting ready to say
I
yes.
agree.
that.
I can't think
I
of
want to
one thing that I learned well at all. I got not one thing. It was all shame. Shame on
Shame,
you,
shame,
shame
Hmm.
on
shame.
your
Yep.
family, shame on your dogs, shame,
Dishonor.
shame,
Just.
shame.
Come on, Mulan. Come on.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I got pregnant with my first daughter, I wasn't married yet when I got pregnant with my first daughter, and
Yeah, right, Kevin. What's purity?
me and her father at the time we wanted to get her baptized. So my uncle, who was a pastor of the church, he didn't want to do the baptism in front of the congregation. He wanted to do the baptism behind closed doors in his office on a weekday
Oh,
because he
Wow.
was like, because she was born out of wedlock, I can't allow you to have her baptized in front of my congregation. I'm not ashamed of my child. She's here.
Mm,
If she wasn't meant to be here, then she wouldn't have been here. She's here. So I was like, well, we're not going to do it because I'm not going to have my child have things done to my child in secret because you
Yeah.
feel that it's done wrong. So yeah.
that's
I
hurtful.
I want y'all to look at this comment real quick because I think this is the scare tactic portion or the
Hmm.
real far left portion of it. Janine says someone told her holding a Bible to her chest, that the urges would stop or to help to stop the urges. And I think stuff like this is just ridiculous foolishness.
Hmm.
Um, just like,
What is this? A Lifetime movie?
people making folks get up in front of the entire church to say, that you were pregnant, or whatever other goofy foolishness, um, that people were doing. And I think it pushed people to the point where, well, since I'm, such a horrible person, I might as well go out there and do the gambit. uh,
Having a pastor, like having a pastor come directly in your face and call you to your face a whore,
yeah,
said,
no.
telling you that you sleep around. Yeah, I had that. I had that. Yeah,
I've had
Yeah,
that
no,
experience myself.
that's important.
I was a
Yeah.
virgin. So
Wow.
come on. Right.
I
Wow.
I think something else that the faith community, if I had to give it, it's the whole conversation about like maybe abstinence or waiting until you're actually ready is fair, but the church also doesn't teach you what happens if you get divorced. What happens if, you'd never want to get married? What happens if um you know that you're not in the faith community, or people that aren't? So it doesn't really expose you to a whole lot. And like our gentleman mentioned earlier, as a kid or as a young impressionable person, those questions don't go away. And if we aren't properly educating others, or even our children on the legitimacy and the feelings, shame, desire, and all of this, they're going to find the answers from somewhere, and they may not be the right answers. They may be out in left field.
Mm,
So, I mean, I think it's important to teach that sexuality doesn't make you a good or a bad person, which is a really heavy
Right.
thing to put on somebody who is, especially since that's part of being human.
all right. Anybody else?
I think for me, being a teenage mom was when I stopped going to church
Mm,
Mm,
because all
Mm.
the shame and the
Yeah.
blaming. I was actually told that I could not be proud. I had my very first sonogram. I'm only 14. Okay, I'm 14. Had my first sonogram, got to see my little big headed baby, and she was healthy and she was okay. And I'm showing my best friend, and they were like, "Oh, don't flaunt your sin." I thought that
Wow.
itself was the sin, not my child.
correct.
So
exactly.
after
Right.
my child
Right.
was born, everybody loves a baby. And my daughter's gorgeous, and not just because she's my child. Like, my daughter's absolutely gorgeous. It has been from absolute birth. Her nickname has been Face since she was born, and that was before it became a popular saying.
Right.
And when she was born, everybody wanted to touch her and hold her, and I'm like, oh no, no, leave the sin to me.
Mm, yeah.
That
Leave
part.
the sin to me.
That
Like,
part.
don't touch
That
my
part.
child. And the way that I was so misguided, and the way that I was so um pushed off. I was told that I couldn't be around my friends anymore because my promiscuity would rub off
Hmm.
That's
Right.
crazy.
Mm.
on them. Like, after a while, I'm like, man, these people, and I'm out.
Yep.
So that was actually the point where I just decided at that young age, where adults could have very well done things so much better for me and my
Hmm.
daughter to have right relationship with church and Christian
Mhm.
folk. They decided
Right.
to shame me to death, and I left, and I never looked back.
Hmm.
And I think that's the piece. I think that's the dynamic that a lot of faith-based communities. I think it happens in the Christian communities the most, because I think
Mm.
people are so instilled in tradition and how things were done
Right.
always
Hmm.
before,
Yep.
that a lot of people, it's hard for them to come out of that traditionalism and make it more comfortable for people to come up to faith-based individuals to be able
Right.
to say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, hey, this is what I'm going through, can you help me, can you talk to me, can you help me figure out how to not do it, all of these types of things. And it just pushes people out of the door, and it gives them a false sense of who God actually is, because
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
many people are
Right.
It makes you
treating
feel like
you.
you've confessed a felony.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And see,
Right.
like,
Well,
for crying
and
out
right.
see,
loud.
we had a pastor that frequents our church often, and he was prophesying and everything, and he was talking to one of our young members, and he was telling him, he was like, the Lord is telling me to tell you to wait, but if you can't, be careful. So it's like,
Yeah,
don't shame anybody for doing a natural act, but just give them the proper tools so that they'll know what they're getting themselves into. Don't like you said, don't make sex a dirty word, because it's not a dirty word.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think at the end of the day, you just educate them, like, because you know, especially now with the way social media is, they're going to learn about it one way or the other. And with my kids are 20, 13, and 9, and having that, I know having that, I'd rather them have that conversation with me than they're in
Mhm.
the parking lot or the playground with their homeboys or something and looking at, like, get it up front, even outside of the church, because I've seen instances where with the where people, we had, they had a whole Maury Povich moment at church where they did the you're not the father type of thing, and had this young lady in front of the church and embarrassed her. But the one thing I love about my pastor now, he says, don't look down on that child that may have one or two baby mothers, I mean baby fathers, because I'm quite sure if we go to Vital Records, all your child's names probably won't line up. And it's just, and I mean, being a guy, I guess that's where the only guy part comes in good. I feel for the women, because we'll do it, and it's brushed under the rug.
Yes.
Where with y'all get pregnant, y'all have to carry that. Like I could get you pregnant and disappear, and I ain't really have to worry about it. Where y'all still have to carry that, especially at a church where, if you're pregnant by someone that doesn't go to the church, that's even a
Right.
bigger issue then. Where, like, oh well, who is he? What does he do? And it's just, yeah, that shame part. Like, again, like Chris said, it draws a lot of people out of church, and they get that false sense of that's how God is. Like, oh well, if they, we're representatives of Christ, so when they hear from us, for some of them, it's the same as hearing from a pastor or from God Himself. So yeah.
Yeah. So this comment popped up, and it falls into one of the questions that I wanted to ask the panel. Um, Anthony Allen says New Creation had a
Excuse
Wild
me.
Wait program. It was youth winning when abstinence is taught is the acronym. And it was a whole curriculum of sex and benefits and discussions, and it was a good overall program. Did you guys attend churches that had programs that were like this, or community-based places like rec centers and stuff like that that may have had programs like this? Do you guys think programs like this would have been beneficial or are beneficial still today?
I think it would have definitely been beneficial, especially for me. When I got
I
pregnant,
did.
absolutely in love. Not only did they not teach us about sex, but they did not teach us about love and
Mm,
what it does when
Hmm.
it's not platonic.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
absolutely in love, and I just knew that this man was gonna be the moon and the stars combined for me, and that was just gonna be it. We was just gonna have pretty little babies, and we just was. And I had never had more wrong information in my life. So something like that would have absolutely been beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah. I think even if the conversation wasn't about sex at all, if there was a program or even something embedded into, the services that taught, if somebody has already made choices that don't line up with their own beliefs or with your beliefs, then we don't have to slap a label on them, and make that their entire identity or our identity if it's us that has done something like that. Like Kisha said, you can believe something is wrong and not treat somebody else like they've permanently ruined their life.
I love the fact that I had the parents that I had, because they taught me and my brother about sex and love and commitment, and not to give your body to just any, basically, Tom, Dick, and Harry. or Sally Sue and Lisa. In my brother's case, So yeah, so and it's a lot, and I feel for a lot of people who didn't have parents that they could go to and
Right.
have the conversations about sex and marriage and love and you know protecting your body and and different stuff like that. Like my mom took me to the library and we got books and stuff and we sat down and we went through the books and read the books and she told me this is this part of your body and your body does this and that and the other and this is the like I wish other people, like a lot of people, had that. And that's why I try my best to have an open dialogue with my kids. So if they come and
Hmm.
ask me, I'm not going to like, oh, don't say that. Because, like, with my grandparents, I went and told my grandfather when I was like, I think I was like 5 years old. And I said to him, Pop, I know you know what a boy has and what a girl has. And he was like, what? And I was like, a girl has a vagina and a boy has a penis. And it like his face turned off flush. And he was like, don't say that. No, you can't say that. You're
Hmm.
too young to say that.
The
But why
anatomical
not?
correct names for the
Right.
parts.
But why
Like,
not? You got little girls out here calling their lady parts pocketbooks. Like, no, that's not what it is.
And boxes.
What?
Right. Like, no, tell them the right names of their body parts. Don't have them out here walking around calling their vagina a
Bless you.
pocketbook or, their
Bless you.
their penis a pee pee or a hoo ha. Well, like it's this.
when you're under the age of 5, like you can say stuff like that, but
Right, but then when you're 13, 14 years old, still
or
calling it,
45,
or
like we don't
45
call
calling
it
it a
that
pocketbook.
anymore.
No, ma'am, you have a vagina.
Right.
Correct.
And
Mm, mm, mm.
to your point, your family sometimes are the worst ones,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
shaming you to death. Like I have so many pastors and prophets and self-proclaimed holiness ones in my family, and trust and believe there is a label put on my life by them
Hmm.
that's actually still there. Chris can tell you that is how they see me. So I am literally the black sheep in my family because I was the kid that had the questions that nobody wanted to answer.
Hmm.
Yes.
I didn't believe in immaculate conception. I know that's what you're telling me. But according to the sex ed class I had in middle school, somebody got down. So either Jesus is the side baby, or I'm just saying, Mary stepped out. Somebody did something, and nobody ever really wanted to answer my questions. So being the kind of inquisitive child that I was, growing up in a household where my father was a pastor and he read books from all religions, and I really have to big him up for that. I appreciate that because it made him such a learned kind of person, even though some things just were not discussed. And to be around us today would be like, y'all didn't talk about that? But
Right.
things were not
Challenge.
discussed, but I was challenged to learn things for myself because I saw how my dad looked everywhere for
Hmm.
information.
Mm,
And again, so
mm.
your family, Lord have mercy, your family, your church family, you begin to build a family and a set of friends in the street because they'll love and accept you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
The church and most religious locations will not.
And I think that's the piece. It's supposed to be the place in the community that people are supposed to come and feel a part of the group, where they're supposed to feel like you accept them because they're a person. You may not accept the behaviors
Hmm.
because
Right.
the Bible is a standard of precedents and rules and guidelines and all those types of things. So, everything can't be accepted, but you come in and you're supposed to feel a part of the group. You're supposed to feel like this place can help you go through life
Right.
based on, what it says. And the first opportunity that comes along that's visible. Let me reiterate that when it comes to sex and pregnancy, it's a visible thing for us as women,
Right.
Yeah.
because we the ones got to carry it. So then it becomes a space where, now that I've done this grave injustice, now y'all don't have anything to say to me except for reminding me of all the things that I've done wrong in this one particular situation.
But you want to know what? Look, you want to know what the funny and crazy thing is the ones in the church that are shaming you are the ones that was out there doing the same exact thing that
Doing
they're
the most.
shaming you
Say
for.
word.
Mm.
You ain't never lie.
You're
Hey,
shaming me for
always the
having
case.
a kid out of wedlock. You're shaming me for having sex without being married. But if I look at your kid over there, you wasn't married when you had that child.
And nor
Right.
does this child look like that man.
That man is
Yeah.
sitting up Deacon Tom over there. They could be
They were
cool.
for the streets.
They could be
Yeah.
It wasn't the streets of gold
exactly.
either.
How about that?
Thank you.
Mm.
So it's like, how you gonna shame me for something that you was out there doing yourself?
The
I get,
gold was
I
the
get you
wet.
don't want me to make the same mistakes that you make, but don't shame me for
There's a certain way to there's a certain way to come to you with that. Like they should come to if you are experiencing or you see this young lady or young man going down the same road you're going, go to them not to shame them, but as a point of experience. Like listen, I've been where you're going. I see where you're going. Let me show you if you're going to do it. Show you how to do it, so you don't make the same mistakes I've made. You don't do some of the things, and I think that's part of the what helped me because again, I was born an uncle, which is weird. So I had my older siblings had kids at young ages, so I saw that. Oh yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So I mean, that's part of where a lot of my education come from. And I joke with people because they say, I was 18, 19 when I lost my virginity, and it's like for a guy, I was like, listen, I lived with a grandfather that was home 24/7. With no sneaking nobody in, no sneaking nobody out. Like I live with retired parents. Like yes, but again, with the shame with church, just go to them if you know where they're going. Go to them and just guide them in a way that will benefit sometimes you as well as the person you're speaking with.
it.
And
Okay, yeah.
if I'm being honest and not jumping ahead,
Mm.
I honestly believe that a lot of the conversations around sex for these teenagers and these young adults are kept quiet because the adults have perversion.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm, mm.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were
Speak
Mm-hmm.
on
well-meaning
it.
adults engaging in unsafe, um, uh, prohibited activities with children my
Mm-hmm.
age that just so happened to have gotten mine outside the church. But y'all are here fiddling, piddling, and touching these kids.
Like I never understood how, in I guess what they call the olden times, how it was okay for a 30-year-old man to marry a 14-year-old girl. Like, how is that okay? Why are y'all okay
So
with
Mhm.
this?
And we're
Like,
not
why are
even
you
in
okay
that
with
culture. We
this?
don't live in that zone where that is a thing. You call
yeah,
you
Yeah.
a parent. It is what it is.
Yeah.
call a
And
stack a stack. I mean, that's
Eric,
why
shut up.
personally for me, I tell
I
my
mean, Kevin.
kids. I thought you were talking to me. I was like, okay, rude.
No, I'm sorry. I
Um,
saw Kevin spoke
he's
about
talking
me.
about
no, I mean, like for me and my kids, like as young as they are, we teach the names for body
Nope.
parts. I don't think anything will happen to them, but God
Mm,
forbid, they're in a situation where I'm not around and something like that does happen,
right.
whether it's child on child or adult on child. I need to know what happened. And if they're using like
Mm-hmm.
euphemisms for it, then I don't really know or I have reason to doubt them when I don't want to doubt my kids about something like that.
yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
that was the one of the main reasons why when my kids were the age where they couldn't talk or like articulate what was going on, that they didn't stay over people's house. I
Hmm.
need you to be able to tell me that so and so did X, Y, and Z to you. So
Yeah.
until you can,
Yeah.
articulate that to me. Oh no, you're not staying over nobody's house. No, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah.
Auntie,
And
uncle,
teaching
cousin.
safe adults don't ask you to keep secrets. Safe adults don't ask you to keep secrets
Mhm.
either.
Let's all
So,
I like that.
remember that women are
Write
perverse.
that down. Safe adults.
Right.
Actually.
Because
I tell my kids all the time, they come back. Safe adults don't ask you to keep secrets. Did anybody ask you to keep a secret? Did anybody tell you to get in trouble if you don't tell me something? I want them to know that I'm a safe space. And that means that sometimes when they're telling me they put a hole through the drywall, by throwing a toy, that means that I'm not like, Jesus Christ, damn kids. That means I'm like, All right, show me the
Okay.
hole. And then
Right.
thank you for being honest and thanking them every time they share something with you, thanking them every time they reach out to you, every time because
Hmm.
they know that no matter what, now in 10 years, in 20 years, they can come to you. And you might not solve their problem for them, but you can hold space for them.
Yeah, I
I
know my
had
kids are about to tell me something crazy when they say, "Mommy, see what had happened was." Okay.
I had
See,
What
a
my
happened?
thing with
baby
my
boy,
daughter called Secret Time.
my baby, he's a snitch and
Besides
don't even
Secret
care.
Time.
All right, wait a minute. So Brian and Keisha, y'all talking at the same time.
Oh
So
my
Oh,
bad.
Keisha, go
go ahead,
ahead.
Keisha.
No, go ahead, Keisha.
I had a thing with my daughter called Secret Time. And even though she's 27, she still will call and be like, "Ma, can we have secret time?" Because in secret time,
Oh,
you
that's
can say
awesome.
anything that you need to say without punishment. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Don't let
Hmm.
me find out, because then you're gonna find out.
Exactly.
But
That
if
part.
you pull mommy up in secret time, and we can figure it out together. And then I also taught her. Um, Again, I was 14 when I had her, but I taught her that women are perverts too.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
Because if
Hmm.
I ran a daycare for 5 years, and if I had $1 for every time I saw a woman call a child in the daycare her boyfriend, I could
Okay.
all to Aruba for 6 months.
Okay.
It's disgusting.
Like
Why
that's
would you?
weird.
Because if a man comes into the daycare and be like, "That's my
Well,
girlfriend right there," and you are calling the police.
Literally.
See,
Or,
we gotta go
oh,
ahead
he's
and
going to
we
be
both.
gotta
so
bust the beat
handsome when he
down.
grows
Oh,
up.
Right.
he's gonna
Or
be such
even
a
creepier,
heartbreaker. Oh, give
when
me a
my
kid's
kids were
boyfriend.
babies. Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
you're
Every time I
disgusting, ma'am. Please don't
every time I heard of an older woman say that about my son, please don't. Please
That's
Yeah,
don't.
like,
Right.
go
Please don't.
away. You're
Right.
not allowed to give him baths anymore.
Right.
so
Like,
we don't normalize that enough that women are also predators.
yep. Yep.
It's
Yeah.
always, and
Yeah.
especially in churches and supposed to be safe spaces, we always talk about the men and, oh, don't let a man do this and don't let a man do that. But how about don't sit on that woman lap? How
Okay.
I mean,
about
it could
don't
be
Hmm.
family
stay out
too,
of her
brothers,
presence?
sisters, aunts, uncles, moms,
Yeah,
dads. It doesn't matter,
Right.
you know. And again, like when it comes to like faith and your family and whatever, like having those open conversations with a friend or a sibling or a cousin, it's important to be able to open
Right.
up to somebody safe.
Yeah, see when you're shamed and not being able to
Then yeah,
talk to people, you don't know what to look for. So you don't know
exactly.
that that teacher is a predator, or that that coach, or the trustee in the church or something like that. You don't know what to look for because people kept it so hush hush and keep
hmm,
it behind closed doors. You never know, and you can't ask certain questions. Like
Yeah.
like, come on now. Like, that's like, you have to have an open dialogue with your kids so that when they become adults, they're not lost.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think you guys have hit on a couple of notes in some of the questions here in this particular section, and a lot of it screams to accountability in
Yeah.
those particular spaces. Like when we find out that somebody is touching children inappropriately or having inappropriate conversations with teenagers or children, like when these kids start talking and saying stuff, it is now our responsibility as the adults now to start asking questions and doing some investigations and holding these individuals accountable, because again, the way that the church was initially set up is supposed to be the safe space in the community for
Right.
people to be able to come to. And we don't want it to not be the safe space that people can come to, because when communities don't have safe spaces, they then tend to start to deteriorate. And in some places, we see a lot of that happening because there aren't any safe spaces. When many of us were teenagers and all that kind of stuff, we had rec centers, we had PAL centers.
Mhm.
You had all of these spaces that you could go to that had individuals that you could talk to, and a lot of those programs and things are now no more in a lot of, especially the inner city areas, especially in inner city areas where there are lots of people of color, in those spaces, because there isn't any budget for it anymore. So Holding people accountable is it's what's necessary, and to stop shaming people for choices that they make. Every
Right.
everything that we do, life is choice driven. There's no way
Yeah.
to get around that. And whether or not the choices align with what your faith belief says, it does not mean or give us the right to shame people because of a choice they've made. Yes, it does not align with what the Bible say. However, if we believe in Jesus, Jesus say you're supposed to love everybody. You can still love them, but not agree with the choice that they made.
Mhm.
It's then
Right.
our responsibility to be there with them through the choices that they made. Still give them the information, still give them what it says, but you then have to allow them to continue to make the choice or make a different choice.
Giving grace.
Absolutely.
Yes. And
Yes.
that's the thing. Grace and accountability, I think, go hand in hand. You have to give people grace in order for them to be able to understand that yeah, we all make mistakes, and some mistakes, take a little longer to come back from
Right.
than others.
Right.
But we all make choices that somebody not going to agree with. I
But don't punish somebody for that mistake for the rest of their life. And
Yes,
that's what a lot of the people. That's what a lot of churches do. They continuously punish you and punish you and punish you. I made a mistake. Okay, I repented for my mistake. Let's move on.
yes,
Yeah.
Hmm.
You're allowed to screw up without becoming a screw up. That's
Right.
like
Yes,
we are
that part.
people,
I
we make
love that.
mistakes. And we're not taught that either, by school or parents or faith or whatever. That I was never told that being an adult, you're going to make mistakes up until you die.
Okay.
For me, what I try and get everybody to understand, at least in my household, the people I interact with, is that never make the same mistake twice. You can make a mistake. You're allowed to screw up. You can fuck it all up. Like, you can have a teenage pregnancy. You can get married and then divorced. You can text and drive and crash your car into a light pole. Never make the same mistake twice. Learn from your mistakes.
yes,
Give yourself
Right. Right.
grace as much as the
Right.
people around you. How the way we talk to ourselves in those moments is oftentimes shaped by what we grew up around. And if all you ever heard was, do it this way or you're sinning, don't do this or you're a bad person, like there's too much black and white when life is all about the gray area.
Mhm.
yes.
I tell people all the time, I can't judge you. That's the Lord. That's the Lord's job. I'm not going to take the Lord's job.
He does
I'm
not
going to
have.
love you with open arms. like who cuz I sin and make mistakes all the time. So who am I to want to cast stones at you for you
Yeah.
making a mistake or for
Mhm.
you
And,
sinning? That's the Lord's job right there.
yeah. And
All I'm here to do is to love you and to guide you in the right direction.
Yep, and Janine kind of summed it up. I have too much to worry about on my own walk. I don't have time to be inspecting anybody else's.
Amen.
Okay.
So, moving into
Message.
the next section called desire and singleness. Uh, there's two. Well, including me, there's three single people on the panel. What does a healthy relationship with sexual desire look like for a single adult whose faith influences their sexual boundaries? Not that the married
Who
people.
said faith influences my?
Oh.
Somebody got
I
married
was like, okay.
before.
Who
Y'all were
said
single
um
at
faith?
one point too.
Literally, I think you have to be able to recognize the desire, decide what you're going to do with it, and maybe that's determined by your beliefs or the values that you hold close to your heart.
Mm,
And then not spend the entire time feeling like your own body is trying to lead you into sin. Like, desire is real, and like you can allow yourself to feel desire. You can allow yourself to either say yes or to say no. Um, but like at the end of the day, if you decide to do it, that doesn't make you a moral failure.
Okay. Anybody else?
It is a lot to answer. Out to I guess to make it easier, I would attribute this to weight loss journeys.
Okay.
At one point or another, all of us are familiar either with the phrase or the activity itself.
Hmm.
And you know that a Snicker bar is a trigger for you. And you
Mhm.
know that when you walk into the
Mm,
at the register, when you're finished and you successfully walk the whole store, it's a big old dumb old king size Snicker, and it's on sale right there.
Keisha feels some kind of way.
Oh, you hear me?
You like Jesus take the
Keisha's.
wheel. You like
This
Jesus take the
Snicker,
wheel.
I want this Snicker. But you know also what will happen if you buy it, bust it down, it will not go well.
Hmm.
So, what is your ultimate goal? And how does your desire fit in that ultimate goal? And if it
Mm,
learns self control, that's
Right.
the best way for me to
Yeah.
throw that.
Okay. What advice is commonly given to single people about managing sexual desire that sounds spiritual but isn't particularly practical?
Pray
Pray
about
about it.
yeah.
I
Yep.
was about to say, pray
Focus on
about it.
God.
Pray
it.
about
Pray
it.
I
about it.
mean,
No,
it
uh-uh.
might be it might be spiritually meaningful, but it doesn't really teach somebody how to understand desire or how to manage it in a practical way.
Mm,
Like,
mm,
like you were saying about the Snickers bar, telling somebody to avoid temptation also doesn't really explain how you recognize the difference between having a normal sexual thought as a single adult or a married one and actually making a bad decision.
I'm mad that everybody said it at the same.
yeah. Pray about it. Mm.
That means we've
Pray about
all
it.
gotten that stuff.
Because listen, praying, you telling somebody to pray about it doesn't give them the answer. A lot of people don't even know how to pray.
To
Some
pray. Yeah.
people, like me,
Yeah.
I talk to God like I'm talking to y'all. They on
Yep.
my nerves. Get your son.
Okay.
Like I talk to God like I talk to y'all. However, a lot of people were taught, again, we coming up in these religious locations, bow your head, close your eyes, be in reverence, stiffen your back, arch, arch your shoulder. Like I don't. Why? Why do I need to do all of that just to tell God I need? Sometimes
Right.
the
Right.
best prayer is the one that doesn't have
Uh-uh.
formation.
Hmm.
But
It feels really invalidating.
Yes.
telling people to
Like,
pray
please
about
stop having
Right.
hormones
But it's like
immediately.
you telling me to pray.
right,
It's
like
like
don't take the
you're
hormones because
telling
the
me to
feeling
pray
not
about
gonna
it,
help.
but you still haven't answered my question.
My
Right.
question.
Like
Right.
if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't have the answer, just say I don't have the answer.
Let's say I don't know.
Right. I'd rather
Yeah.
you say I don't know than give me like a cliche answer that's not helping me because I'm still just as confused when before I
Mm,
came to you.
And my prayer gonna
If
sound
not
just as
more.
confused and confused as it was when I asked you. Like, give me
Right.
an
right.
answer and let me find out on my own. Like, there aren't
You look. Well, go
not a
about
lot
it.
to go.
Yeah, and I had a situation where I was really in my feelings about like just in this space of waiting. Like I'm single, I've been single a long time. And you get to a point where it's just like for real, like how much longer am I going to be single? Um and I just was having like a real bad go about it. And I was sitting in like a session with a bunch of other women, and was like, well, when I'm feeling like this, like what can I do to not feel like this? And they was like, well, Kristen, you can search the scripture and you can pray and tell the Lord to like help you deal with it. And that's all fine and well. But I'm asking you, what can I do? Like, first of
Okay.
all, I'm insulted that you think I'm not already doing that.
Right.
And obviously, like that isn't helping me in whatever emotional state that I'm in. And I think what bothers me sometimes is that people forget that they used to be in those situations
Mm-hmm.
or exposed to people who were in those situations. And it's like you forget and you talk from a place of where you are right now versus what did you do in those spaces
Right.
when you were having those same issues. Now you can say, Chris, I didn't handle that situation too well. When I felt like that, I went and laid up under some man or some woman, or I
Mm,
went drank or, ate excessively. I went and shot up somebody. Like, I don't know. Like, whatever they did
But
to
you want to
get
know what?
over it.
Right.
you
But you
know,
want to know what? Some people become too holy to be human.
yes.
Yes.
And I think that becomes a part of this conversation. Like, you, when it comes to sex and sensuality and desire, that because we have like this Jesus stamp on us now, it takes it out of a place of just regular conversation to have it, because people believe that when you start having a conversation, it means that you're going to do whatever said conversation is being had.
Mhm.
So then we don't have the conversation.
Right.
Right.
And I,
Sometimes the conversation is needed to talk you out of doing the thing.
That part.
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
really appreciate one of the comments. Kevin said to get a hobby. I have a girlfriend of mine. She's been like the best person in the whole wide world, and she struggles with singleness and purity. And I asked her how she handles it, and she was like, I went to the gym. Every time I had the thought, I went to the gym. It put her in a flow state. And then she lifted her shirt and was like, see this six pack? That's because I am out. And then she was actually my size. And that, to me, it was like, that is, first of all, that's a insane amount of dedication. But it
Fact.
actually
Mhm.
was something that helped her. Like, she found herself a hobby. She wanted to improve her physical look anyway. So she just, whenever I had those desires, I went to a 24-hour gym, and I worked out and sweat until I was exhausted. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't.
Right.
If I was
And
to do that now, I would look like the Incredible Hulk.
I don't know. I don't. I wouldn't suggest it. I don't want you to go that hard, But it works for her.
Yeah.
But Brian, talk about your specific situation, and where you are in your stage of life, for people to understand, like, why, even though it's a funny comment, why you would make that comment.
I mean, well, for for those who don't know and for those who do know, I'm a widower. My wife unexpectedly passed away 3 years ago, just this past July, and it's weird for me just just being on this side of it now, where you've been with this person for I think before she passed, we were been married almost 10 years, and just I was a married guy that I could at times when I wanted to I could roll over, tap her on the shoulder. We knew what it was, but now being in space and now having children, it also it I always say children are the best deterrent to doing things you're not supposed to do, because they will make sure you're not like my daughter. She's 20 years old. She is the unofficial den mother. She thinks she's my mom. She thinks she's my wife. She says I am her adult teenager. So,
And she makes
oh
she
yeah,
makes
yeah,
every sense of it.
every bit of it. She has my location. If I'm 5 miles outside of her circle, I get a phone call immediately. Like, Dad, where you going? Why you been there so long? What?
Oh,
Who are you
your
with?
20-year-old does that too.
Yes, yeah. If I'm on the phone with Chris or any female outside of who she knows, like just what happened, her bedroom door popped open, and she looks and like, who is that? But just from the subject matter, just as a male, um, just like you say, those desires it hits, and I'm big with video games, so that's one of my outs for it. I do good with collecting comic books. That's another out, and actually doing these podcasts is another way of not so much. Yeah, it's more for
Free
this.
time.
It's a great way of the distraction from, because again, being a guy, you know, for the most part, I could go anywhere. I'm not gonna say I could go anywhere and get anyone, but that's nowadays you don't want to do that,
Yeah, I
but
love that.
you don't want to do that. And it's funny because I used to joke with my wife before she passed. I was like, if something was to happen to you or me, I don't know what I would do as far as dating, because I don't want to date. And the dating pool is terrifying.
Fresh.
Like
It's me in the pool. I was told it's
terrifying.
me in the pool.
She's funny.
And there are
No,
married people in there, and I wish they get out.
like
Sitting
but
at the bar across from me, talk about, hey boo, what's up? You got a wedding ring on your finger. Boy, bye. I'm so sorry. I had a terrible moment.
Come back. Come back. It's okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
come on, come on.
My
We
condolences.
here for you.
I had no idea that you lost your wife, and I won't even pretend to understand what it means to lose a spouse. So my deepest condolences to you and your children.
Thank you, thank you. It's been to say it's been easy would be a lie,
Of
but
course,
it's been manageable. It's been manageable. I have a great village.
that's
I
awesome.
have a awesome village. Chris is she's one of them little Smurf huts in the village. Yeah,
And I will kick him
but
in his
yeah, it,
kneecaps when he get out of line.
yeah. Espe- Especially with having a older daughter with when stuff like this, these questions come up. It's great to have a village that now my mom, ladies like Chris, her godmother, that the answers I don't have, I know
Mhm.
where I could go to get them. Um, but again, yeah, it's the village has definitely showed up and showed up.
All right. Got another question for you guys. Moving into sex, intimacy, and attachment. How would you describe the difference between physical intimacy, sexual intimacy, and emotional intimacy? Because apparently, in this dating space, we got it all confused.
Yeah.
So you said
So, I mean,
physical.
I think a lot of people don't know that they're not automatically the same thing.
Mhm.
You can have
Hmm.
incredible sexual chemistry with someone and still have absolutely no idea how to communicate with them.
Hmm.
You can cuddle with somebody that you don't trust or don't love. You can be emotionally close to somebody without having sex with them. Um, we just apparently decided that three different kinds of intimacy were not confusing enough on their own.
How about that? Because even
And
inside,
I mean,
it can be separate, completely separate.
yeah,
Even inside,
good for the whole doesn't mean good for the soul.
Yeah.
right?
Come on, y'all. Y'all coming up with these
Yeah.
t-shirt
Right.
phrases.
These,
Write that one
these
down.
some good t-shirts. Look, these some good t-shirts here.
Yeah,
Yeah, right,
Right there,
right
that,
near that.
that,
But see, a lot of people get sex and intimacy confused.
because they are not the same thing.
They're not.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Intimacy is not always in the bedroom.
it actually is not in the
there you go.
bedroom.
Right.
Intimacy has absolutely nothing to do with sex whatsoever. However, you can hit the jackpot and get all those things aligned with a person. It'll make it hit.
Hmm.
But
Right.
Whoa! I understood that reference. I
thank
understood that
you.
reference.
Head pop on. Woo!
They are not the same thing. Because you have intimate relationships with your children.
Right.
You have
Yes.
intimate
Hmm.
relationships with your coworkers. Dare I say,
Hmm.
please don't be doing it to the kids. So
please.
it's
Like
not the same thing.
right.
It's
Like prime
not.
Right.
example. Like prime example, my 9 year old. When I come, because I work overnight, I work 11 to 7. So when I get home in the morning, my 9 year old, she'll be up, and we'll have mommy and me time where she tells me about what happened, through her night, or what she dreamt about, and then she'll ask me how was work, and she don't want me to say, "Oh, work is fine." She wants me to describe what happened at work verbatim. Like I got to tell her detail by detail, and that is intimacy right there.
Mhm.
That is me and her intimate time. And then when we finish talking, she'll give me a kiss on the forehead and say, "Okay, mommy, go ahead and take your nap. I'll talk to you later." So, right, that is intimacy. And that doesn't
And
have
we got
nothing
do
to
we
do
have the
with sex.
same 9 year old?
And then you can still.
Hey,
Hey,
Anthony,
it's my
what's
little
happening?
brother.
Oh, hello, Anthony. You can still.
Hello,
That's
sir.
my little brother.
You can have an attachment to someone that you have no sexual desire towards.
Right.
You
Right.
can be intimate
Right.
with someone that you have zero sexual desires towards. It really just all depends, but they are all completely separate.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Because
think
Yeah.
I have a female
go ahead,
best
Brian.
friend. I have a female best friend, and me and Carla has been friends since 1986, and
Ooh,
that's my ride or die. Like that's my chick. Like, and we're so close that people confuse us as a couple. Like, and it's crazy. I love her to death. Mm-mm. But again, just like you say, you could be intimate, you could be attracted, you could be have an emotional connection to someone. Um, you can have an emotional attachment with somebody and not be physically attracted to them. Like,
exactly,
I mean,
Yeah.
exactly.
she's a
And on
she's
the
a
flip
she's a
side, yeah,
gorgeous young lady, but
yeah,
yeah, that's sis.
yeah. And then on the flip side, like you can be physical with somebody and still not be able to be vulnerable with them.
Hmm.
It just immediately, you can have really good sex with somebody and just go, ah, yes, this person is my soulmate. Meanwhile, 1 month in, you want to throw each other into traffic every time you have an argument.
My
Like
favorite,
sexual compatibility is not the same as emotional compatibility, and being
Right.
horny is not a background check.
that
Fact.
It is not.
It's definitely
my
not.
favorite
It
thing
is
is my
not.
favorite thing is say you want to hug them in the face with a brick.
Literally.
Wow.
A
What?
long, loving hug.
A long
Y'all,
loving
I
hug.
thought
Y'all
I was violent.
violent.
Y'all coming up with some violent things around here. How does sex change the emotional dynamics of a relationship, especially when the two people involved attach different meanings to the experience?
This is what I wish they taught us as kids.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because not knowing attachment styles in general is hard enough. Then you add sex and it complicates everything.
Man, listen.
Everything.
It could have just been a hit and
Everything.
run and somebody feeling like you belong to them. And so now
Oh,
you in
yeah.
a
Hmm.
relationship and don't know.
You in a relationship. You in a relationship.
You've
Like when
been
did
you've
this
been called
happen?
all hours of the night. It's all kind of things happening. I wish that that was one. As a matter of fact,
They leaving stuff at your
anybody
house. You like,
in
wait a minute.
position of leadership in their church should implement this information for the youth. They need to know because you give your body, this is male or female, because men are just as emotional of a creature as a woman is. You give
Hmm.
your body
Hmm.
something so precious, something that cannot be replaced to someone that you deem worthy of it, even if just for a night. That creates a soul tie that you
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
cannot get rid of by yourself.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Girl, preach.
That
You
Come
better
on,
attachment,
preach.
pass the offering plate
Yeah.
now. Go ahead.
Right. She over
Mhm.
there preaching.
it's an
There are people
attachment.
that treat it casually too. People
Yeah, it's
treat
an
it casually,
attachment
like
to
that was fun, and the other person's like, "We're getting married tomorrow."
Yes.
and the doorhouse still open. Let's go.
And you
Like I
wonder
called
why
the
we have
Uber.
all of these when you wonder why we have all of these stalker movies with the women going cuckoo and everything, sitting in the man's
Mm-hmm.
bedroom with the knife and while he's sleeping
Because you
with his new
didn't gave
boo.
that cookie and
Right.
you had a wonder stick.
Or he done slammed you through a mattress and you don't know what else to do with
And
yourself.
now what am I supposed
Mm-hmm.
to do?
Or like he got him following her down the street and everything, and he peeking around corners everywhere she go. He around the corners. Yeah, you got to be careful who you
He
give
done
your
knocked
body
your head
to.
between the mattress and the wall and
Yeah.
now you don't know what to do with yourself. Don't nobody have that type of time.
Like,
But
where you let
but
me go?
and then the other thing is that when you and the other person aren't seeing eye to eye with regards to what's happening, then it's hard for one person to move on because now they're
Right.
comparing whoever they come up against to this other
Yeah.
person
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
who,
Mm-hmm.
you know, gave them, blackberry molasses, and you done seen the sun, the moon, the mountains and the rivers and all that other
Hello.
kind of stuff.
He done seen the constellation.
You know, you done seen every book of the
Yeah.
Bible and, some extras after this sexual encounter with this person, and you don't know how to get your life together.
Right.
Right, right.
We have
You can't
stumbled
look.
through
You
the
can't
steps
Yeah.
focus
to
at you can't focus at work because you're thinking about him, wondering what he's doing while
Yes.
because he ain't answer his
Right.
phone in the 2 seconds
Mm-hmm.
that it rang.
Yeah.
You mad because they
I
ain't
think
picking up
that's
your
why it's
phone
also
call?
period. I think that's why it's also so important for people to be able to communicate with each other before the
Right.
act
Yep.
rather than just after,
Yeah.
because neither of those perspectives is inherently wrong. I mean, stalking definitely wrong, but one person is allowed to say, "Well, that was fun, see you never," and the other person is allowed to feel emotional and bonded after it because like sex can create the same feelings of like closeness and vulnerability without actually
Hmm.
creating emotional intimacy. So it's really easy to assume that the other person feels exactly the same way as you.
And that's why
And
you should
that's where
have the
things get
conversation
very
before
messy.
you have sex.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
should have that. You
Yes.
should have that
Conversation is
conversation
definitely
before sex.
definitely a
Like,
key
hey,
point.
all I want to do is just hit it and quit it. I don't want no long term relationship.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
You
even
shouldn't
sometimes
have
that
these
Yeah.
conversations
conversation,
And it's even okay if
afterwards.
people feel that way. It's even okay if people feel that way or change their minds after, but you like really have to be able to, at the very least, talk about like, hey, are we going to do this? Are we going to wrap it up? Are we going to date other people? And then you guys were never on the same page when you finally do have that conversation, and the chances of it ending positively are much
Right.
lower,
Because
because
you're
at
over
that
here.
point it's really easy to let your feelings get in the way of
yeah,
having this
yeah, right,
conversation now.
quick.
Right, because you're over here thinking you're in a committed relationship, but he's out here dating Sally and Tammy
Hmm.
and Tanya,
And
and
their
then vice
favorite
versa. He
is
thinking he's in a committed relationship and she's out here dating everybody. So that's why you
Right.
should have these conversations before you sleep together, because it's crazy to have it afterwards.
right. Because
Yeah.
their favorite thing to say is, "I never said we was in a relationship."
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't
But
remember
that's
having that
why but
conversation.
that's why you have these things like tonight's conversations, and you have all of these
Hmm.
extra podcasts that have now sprung up because people don't know how to communicate. They don't understand what intimacy is. People are, having these sexual experiences, not understanding what to do following, that space, or there are conversations that people have not had before they have it. So now you have all of these busted and broken people afterwards that, everybody now picks up a microphone and wants to talk about, their perspective on it. And I think you guys have touched all three of these, which is why we've gone ahead and moved on into the next phase when we talk about boundaries and communication. And I would like to know from you guys, because all of you are either currently now or have been married. What were conversations that you had with your spouses when it came to things like sex, intimacy, all of those types of things? Because I'm the only genuinely single person on the panel here. So let's start with Brian, since he the guy.
I mean, like with me and Shauna, we just like it was so going back to when we first dating. My daughter was 4. She's not my biological daughter, but she's my daughter. So went back to when we was dating. Shauna made me wait. It was, I think we was 8 9 months into our relationship before we even had the conversation about sex. Because again, when I met her, she was already a mom, so she already knew what consequences, not consequences, but what, she was already being careful about who she was with, because she just didn't. Again, she didn't want. I guess she just didn't want me to be another guy. Um, a little small story. The first time me and her talked, I remember I left a cookout and she called me about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And guy, I'm in my late 20s. You call me after 11 o'clock. I'm only thinking of one thing. And she called me. She's like, hey, I'm home from work. If you want to come over, come over. So I'm like, deuces, I'm out. And I get to her house and we sat on her front porch for 2 hours and talked. And it was probably the best conversation I'm gonna try to do this while crying. Probably the best conversation I ever had with her. Chris, you already know these conversations. We
I
be having
know.
these conversations. I turn into a crying fool. But when it came down to with sex, even after we got married, and then we became parents, we still had a conversation like when be careful when you do it. Um, we set as part of, I guess you could say, a time when we did it, so the kids wouldn't interrupt. But yeah, it was always like she stood firm and she held her boundaries very well in our dating period. Again, she was a young mom with a girl, and that was a different layer because I, as a parent now, and as a parent of said daughter, you don't want to see your child with a rotating door of suitors, especially as a woman, and you constantly see men coming out. So I remember one of the conversations we had. She's like, if we're going to do this, one, she made sure I put a title to what she wears. Like, I'm not just some fling, I'm not some floozy. If we do this, are we boyfriend, girlfriend, and we went on from there. But yeah, she's always said she was always had this conversation of just setting boundaries. We had a conversation. We set what our goals were, what the limits were to where we. Because every time I went over there, I tried my best, but none of my tricks worked. None of my tricks worked, and now that's part of the reason that made me want to marry her, because she was different from all the other women that I've been with. She had boundaries. She had a level. We had a roadway of communication, and she didn't, for lack of a better word, she didn't fall for my shit, which to me was impressive. So I was like, you know what? I think I want to keep you around. But yeah, it was just it had an open level of conversation. She always had a level of conversation when it came to that. That was my baby.
Come on, married people.
Oh, I'm gonna be totally honest. We did. We talked about
Yeah.
everything, but we was already doing it. So it wasn't no need to discuss it. I know I'm keeping you.
Yes.
You know you gonna keep this part full. We talked about everything else. What we need to talk about it for? Get into it, sir. We already in there. Let's do that.
Listen,
We do that.
6 months after meeting my kid's dad, I was pregnant with my first daughter. So we didn't. So yeah.
We talked about everything today. Hmm.
But I will say that after, I would say dating after divorce, I did set those boundaries because now I did have kids and I had to think about
Yeah, it's
them
different
first.
now.
So I had to have boundaries. So there wasn't no, oh, you're staying the night over if I'm not sure that we are going to be together
Hmm.
6 months, 8 months, or a year down the line. I need to know for a fact that you're going to be around because I don't want my kids to keep meeting different guys over and over again. And I have 4 kids. I have 3 daughters and a son. So I need to set an example for my daughters as well as my son. So it's like, no, you're not staying. I'll come over your house, but you're not staying here because I have impressionable children, and I need them not to see this guy coming in, and then I'm thinking he's going to be around, and then 6 months down the line you're gone, and then now I got a new guy, and they like, mommy, what's going on? So no, they didn't
Right.
meet my kids. My kids didn't know I had a guy for a long time.
And we're all
Like it was
composed
just
though.
like mom, like this, like mommy's going out. I'll see you later. I made sure that they were in bed. They were fed, they was washed, they was in bed, and then I went and did my thing. But before they woke up, mommy was back home.
Kids
So
in
they
bed.
never know. So they
Yeah.
never knew I even left the house.
My
Now,
husband.
Kaylee, your dynamic is a little different because your husband isn't home all the time.
And I've been married twice.
Okay.
This is my second marriage. So I guess it's interesting because obviously before I got married, we were already doing it. So there wasn't really a conversation. Like it was just hookup culture. So that's just what it was. It turned
Hmm.
into more. Um, I think what's interesting for me is having the sex is definitely easier than talking about it, what you want, how it makes you feel, where you want it to go. But then again, it's not that hard to imagine why, when historically talking about sex made you feel like you're admitting to murder. Um, yeah. So, I mean, we had conversations in as much as like protection, consent. Um, we didn't necessarily agree on those things in, like my previous marriage. However, um, I think that's one of the areas that's really important to discuss, especially before whether or not you're talking about what positions you like it in or whether or not you want a family. Um, Being able to be that vulnerable and ask for what you want is really important.
Mm,
And if you don't feel comfortable enough to ask for what you want ahead of time, then you should really ask yourself whether you should be doing it at all.
That part.
So since you got since some of y'all did, some of y'all didn't, whatever have you, how did you then in turn navigate the differences in like sexual desire or fantasies or expectations, boundaries, even like what was a hard no versus a soft no, and comfort without turning those differences into like rejection or pressure.
I think sometimes asking for what you want can sometimes
yeah.
come like you can end up feeling really bad about it, especially if you're like, it's really hard for me to, get off this way. I would really like to try this, especially if somebody comes back and is like, am I not doing it good enough? And, taking it very personally and being defensive, that reaction can kind of also make you be like, okay, well then I guess I won't say anything.
Mm,
Um, and that's hard too. You're
I
doing
just
yourself a
asked.
disservice because
Right.
also like why are you going to each their own. I'm not going to kink shame. I'm just kink asking why. Like why? What is it about sex that is so good for you if you're not inclined to make it good for you? Are you doing it for the other
Hmm.
person? Are you doing it to fill some kind of void or some kind of emotional need? Um, because I think like both of those things can be true at once. Not that they're inherently right or wrong, but it's important to know like how you feel about it and then discuss and feel comfortable asking for what you want or don't want.
Right.
And also, if you read dirty books like me, sometimes, the list of things is much longer. The trigger warnings are longer and there's more that to discuss or ask for. Um, Not everybody's like that, especially with purity culture or different faith communities and how they grew up. And I think how somebody grew up is also really important to keep in mind when you are having these conversations because maybe you're asking for something they've never even considered in their entire life.
Hmm.
anybody else?
Um,
I'm open to try almost anything sexually, almost anything. So,
The host,
but
the host
but
of the
and,
Roddy Night, like, okay.
but you
Right.
definitely, I don't.
Trisexual.
Right, exactly. So, but I definitely don't have a problem in telling my spouse, okay, I like this, but I don't like that. And
Yeah.
I would hope that he would feel comfortable in telling me the same thing. So,
I'm
but
my
it's like it's the level of maturity in the sex as well to be able to be open and
Hmm.
honest with your partner about I like this, I don't like this, I like when you do this to my body, I don't like when you do that to my body. Can we try this? Being able to ask them, hey, can we try this at least once, like, and them not look at you like, what is wrong with you? You know?
Yeah, I think your partner should be the one person you shouldn't feel uncomfortable about talking about that with. Like again, when me and my wife, it was times I was like, we went into sex shops on our own. Like, hey, like let's go see what this is about. Like, let's try these, let's try that. She make sure the kids ain't looking. She was a because my little one, he'll pop his head out.
Yes,
She was
please.
a fan of
Yeah.
the vibrating the
Violent.
pad. So I was like, all right, cool. I brought her a pad, and she got a kick out of it. I got a kick out of it. And but again, it's just like Haley, it's just you have to have that level of communication. You have to ask. What they say, a closed mouth don't get fed. So I'm gonna ask. Let's have this conversation. Like them pillow talks at night, even when you're not being intimate, still
Just
had those
laying in the bed
conversations.
having a
Like, hey,
conversation.
yeah, like so if we was to try this, how would you feel? Or if we was to do that, I mean, granted, my wife had one hard no, and I think most women know what that hard no is. Um, but
No comment.
and well, she had two hard no's. She had two. One was bringing someone else into the bedroom. I just When I asked, it was more of a joke, just to gauge the temperature of the room,
Just
and it
to
was ice
see.
cold. It was
Listen,
ice cold.
listen.
Yeah. But yeah, you just had, like I say, I just just have to have that conversation. It has to be an honest conversation. It's up to you not to make it weird. So and even if it's weird, that's your partner. You should be able to be weird
With your
with your
partner.
partner. You should be able to have the out of pocket conversations with your partner. Especially in those moments when you're being, like I say, you don't necessarily have to be intimate. Just be there talking. You can sit there and you eating cereal. Like, hey, babe, I thought about, but yeah, you should be able to have a level of a level of maturity and a level of communication with your partner.
Now, Keisha, you and Derek do these marriage moments where you guys talk about, healthy marriages and things like that. Like, how do you guys get the people who follow you to be able to see like what healthy communication in a relationship, in a long-term relationship, looks like? Because you guys have been married for
14 years.
14. I thought it was 15.
It's
um
coming up.
I know.
Uh,
um but talk to me about, like, the posts and stuff that you guys do to kind of help to promote the healthy communication and stuff in your marriage.
so the marriage encouragement is more about how to sustain inside the marriage. I believe just simply being human in front of people really helps. Again, I grew up the way that I did, a PK, finding porn at 6. I can be extremely sexually awkward, like, and not even the cute, sexy kind. Like, I'm just like, and, and it can be confusing because those are childhood wounds that don't come up until they've come up. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
being human, being able to be human with my spouse makes the difference, and then being human with him in front of people. Chris, you've been around us. I'm
God, Jesus,
I'm very
Jesus.
in front of him. We are real stupid, and we enjoy the stupidity that being together, just kind of the fun human aspect of marriage and
Yeah.
relationships. And the people have actually really grown to appreciate those things because most of the people that follow us are people that are around us. And then you get to see marriage encouragement in action. Like, you get to see me say, "Get out my face." You get to see me say, "Settle down on all that kindness you got going on over there." Like, I've been smiling and I don't want to have to say. You know what I mean? Like, you get to see him say, "You too close to them punks. Back up." You get to see
Hmm.
him say, "Oh, my wife don't hug or shake hands," because
Hmm.
Hmm.
we create a human experience in our marriage in front of people. And I think that's the honesty that people are missing these days.
Yeah. I love it. They're adorable. All right, as we come into the end of our program, I had to label this part the stuff that we don't usually say out loud.
Oh boy.
So here we go. And I'm gonna give each of you a specific question. This is no way targeted. This is just at random, kind of. So Courtney,
Kinda.
did you hear me say that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you said that.
Courtney, in what ways can great sex keep people attached to a relationship they otherwise know isn't working?
When it's mind blowing. And you know this relationship ain't working. You know you need to leave this man because he drives you crazy. He ain't doing right. But you like I'm just saying, the penis is good. Like, can I keep that and just get rid of him?
Lord have mercy.
Like take the penis and put it on somebody else that's gonna do right, and just get rid of him. Like, can I just keep that part? But yeah, like it can like cloud your judgment. It really can.
Okay.
Like, yeah, mind blowing sex can cloud your judgment sometimes. You gotta be careful.
All right. So, Kaylee, What makes sexual compatibility different from relationship compatibility, and which one do you think people are most likely to confuse?
Yeah. I think sexual compatibility is basically like, do we work really well together in bed? Does it feel good? Is it amazing? Relationship compatibility is really, do we actually function together as a couple or as like human beings? And those are two
Mhm.
incredibly different things. You can have incredible sexual chemistry with someone that you cannot communicate with, you don't trust, you don't share the same values as, or probably shouldn't even be sleeping with. And I think people confuse them constantly because when the sex is really good, it can make the entire relationship feel good. Your body is literally screaming 5 stars, 10 out of 10 would recommend. And your brain is standing in the corner holding a list of 47 reasons why this is an awful, horrible, terrible idea,
Right.
and
Mhm.
those things are not mutually exclusive. And I think,
You-
it's really important to, again, have those discussions and also to know yourself, to know, what to trust yourself to know the difference.
Okay.
your brain is up there yelling at your heart like, "Hey, hey, get rid of him!" And your heart is
Is
like,
that it?
"But
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
it.
Like Courtney said,
love him."
I might like the penis, but I might hate the person it's attached to. Um,
Yes.
like
We're
you
trying to figure
can't
out how to keep it.
Hilarious.
exactly. And knowing what you want ahead of time and
Mhm.
being able to stand your ground, even if it does happen to be really good intimately, being able to stand your ground if you know that you don't function well together and that you're not like compatible as people, and being allowed to let your brain make that decision rather than your heart
Yes.
That's
or
when you need to
your
have that.
privates.
That's when you need to have that friend like Chris that'll kick you in the pants and be like, "Hey, snap out of it."
Yeah. Or like
Listen.
Sean,
Yes.
like he said.
Who is very very matter of factly when he says stuff
Mhm.
like not flat, but just
Yep.
tell you like a
Yeah.
TIE. That's a very
I've known him
southern.
since 2013, before I even had my kid, 2 years before I had my first child. So he saw me going through my casual relationship phase and, coming back and being like, so there's this guy. And he's like, okay, show me a picture, tell me about him. And after I did, he's like, oh man, what is this,
I don't
number
like him.
67 of the
Yeah.
same exact guy fitting the same exact criteria? And yet, still, after all of this, we haven't learned our lesson. I'm like, but he's pretty.
Yeah.
I literally had my
So,
best friend say to me, I showed her a picture of the guy, and she looked at it and said, "I don't like him." Like, you're looking at a picture. He's not right for you. I don't like him. I was like,
and
you
even
don't even
despite all
know him.
that, yeah, even despite hearing that from the people that you love and trust, you'll still be like, yeah, but
Yeah,
they're coming
Yeah,
over
yeah.
tonight.
I'm gonna do
So,
it
I've
I'm
been
gonna do it
there.
anyway.
Right.
it's the
yep.
yeah,
I've been there.
Brian, uh, come on now, don't be that way. How can sex become a way of avoiding conversations, conflict, loneliness, or problems that actually need to be addressed?
Because you don't have a conversation about it. Like or the conversation that you have is already set in place that all I'm coming over here for is sex. Don't ask me if it's raining outside. Don't ask me how I got here. Don't ask me what I had for lunch. Don't ask me none of that. Like sometimes they set that boundary before you even get to the person's house. Like if they know that you're only there for sex, yeah, it's on. For lack of a better word, it's almost treating them like a hooker. You don't you pay them to stay, you pay them to leave.
you got
Like
that
you're
from Four
just
Brothers.
there. I did. So what? I love that movie. Okay.
I do too. That's how I
But
knew that's where it
yeah,
came from.
um, you don't. You like some people just use sex as an out or as a way to escape issues, as a way put myself out there. When my wife passed, I used sex as a way of grieving. Was it healthy? Absolutely not. Like, and again, it trickles back to a lot of what we talked about in this during the show about the purity of it, because I I'm humble enough to say I may have, I may have hurt some people along the way, because again, I wasn't thinking out of, it was more a sexual thing than it was an emotional. Like granted, it was a way of me taking hold of something, or of trying to heal a part of me that I didn't know how to heal. Thank God for therapy. Um, but it was definitely, I was using that, and I didn't want no conversation. Like, I'm not here for that. Like, I don't want to know how your day was. I don't know. I don't want to care about I don't care about the coworker that got on your nerves. Listen, I'm here for one thing. You call me over after 11. I'd already put my kids to bed. I'm over here for one thing too, and that's just how how it be. Some people just, they have the mentality to already go into the situation like that.
And you wanna know what? And that was the opposite when me and my husband,
Kevin, they're
separated.
all
Right,
hard.
Kevin.
They're all
I
hard.
decided, yeah, I decided that I'm going to, and I didn't date for almost 2 years after we separated, because I was like, I'm vulnerable, I'm hurt, and I'm going to take all this hurt and all this pain, and I don't want to take it out on the next guy because it's not him that did it.
And see, me, I
So,
was trauma dumping. I was doing the complete opposite. Like, I
right.
would just, if you smiled at me the right way in the club, or at the bar, at the cigar lounge, or if it was someone who slid in my DMs, like 9 times out of 10, I probably was in bed with you. And again, it's not something I'm not proud of it. And like, was it fun? Yeah, but again, I was young, dumb, and full of a lot of, and it didn't. It did it help? Absolutely not. Like, if anything, I felt worse coming out of it, because I know that's not the kind of person really that I am. I'm not for those who know, I'm not apartment Brian, but um, yeah, it's just it was just it wasn't, that's what I used it for. I for lack of I used sex as a weapon almost. It was as a weapon, because I was grieving, I was hurt, I was mad, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't want none of those conversations. It's just no. You know what I'm here for?
Yeah.
Don't no. Uh,
All right, Keisha.
Yep, yep.
What do you understand about sex, intimacy, or desire now that you wish you understood 10 years ago?
I'm still learning. I'm being
yeah,
honest because
We all are.
we are ever changing creatures. I
yeah.
better not be the woman that he married 14 years ago today.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not
Okay.
the same, he's not going to be the same. And my desires
Mm-hmm.
have changed. My kink has changed. My communication style has changed. Some things may be distorted based on me thinking about then and now. I'm still learning. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
is the most beautiful part of the human experience, that you can continue to learn. And it should
Mm-hmm.
a dirty word. Like, learning should not be a dirty word. Like, you shouldn't be shamed for continuing your emotional education, to continue to be a student of emotional, what is it? Emotional security, emotional intelligence. Those are things that aren't taught to us. Those
Mm-hmm.
are things that we're just picking up because they've become trigger words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Noticing on social media, celibacy is hot right now. Like, you can be celibate and it's cool. But to be
Right.
called a late bloomer if you had sex when you were 18 was like, oh, you get cracked on. But I like, it's having the ability to continue to learn how to communicate with your significant other or even with your friends. Having the ability to learn how to continue to learn intimacy, especially as it pertains to your significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Having the ability to continue to learn or to be willing to unlearn and relearn are beautiful
Mm-hmm.
pieces in every aspect of your life.
All right. Well, you know what?
But
This has been a really good conversation. And
Absolutely.
I definitely want to keep to my time because I know it's a wrestling night, it's a Friday night, and y'all got kids and husbands and dogs and cats and all that other kind of stuff that
Yes.
y'all
I
y'all
have.
have, y'all have not tended to in the last 90 minutes. So I want to be respectful of the time, but you guys have to come back. We have to do this again at the end of the season because there's still a lot of stuff that we
Absolutely.
didn't get to cover. And there was just a lot of good conversation. A lot of folks tapping in the comments, and I just think it was really awesome. So again, thank you
Yeah.
guys very much for
Yes.
participating in it all.
Thanks for
I want
having
to
us.
give you, all right,
Yes.
Kevin. I want to give you guys an opportunity just to kind of talk about where your businesses are going to be next, when your next podcast episodes are going to be. So I'm going to start because she is my good girlfriend. I'm going to start with Keisha first. Keisha, can you tell us what's happening with Soup Solutions and uh, all the other things that y'all got going
So just to keep it quick and light, we only gonna talk about 3 of the 7.
on? Right.
So Soup Solutions is very much active and out weekly. Today we did the locked and loaded potatoes.
Ooh.
I'm not
I'm
100%
gonna
sure
try
if
that.
Chef is going out tomorrow, but if he is, it's probably going to be a loaded potato moment again. You can catch us on Soup's Instagram or Facebook, Soup Solutions. It'll be a lime green bowl. You can't miss it. Same logo. It's beautiful. Cultural Essence is coming back out. Like we are soft landing the relaunch of Cultural Essence, and there'll be way more information about that on social media as well, Facebook or Instagram. And then Voices, Hearts, and Hands, the mobile CPR. I am an advocate for mental health and life saving information. I believe that every household should hold two people that have the skill and knowledge of CPR, because if you're the only
Yes.
one and you pass out, you're screwed. So you can have group
Yeah.
sessions. You can do individual one-on-ones. We are open to, and we also a K through 12 program that we teach as well. Because I believe if they, especially little boys, if they like to fight and they're actually really strong, then they can at least do the Heimlich maneuver. So it's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Again, Voices, Hearts, and Hands can be found on Facebook and or Instagram as well.
Somebody asked Keisha where Soup Solutions is going to be at tomorrow. You guys know?
I'll ask him, and
Okay.
then we'll post it on social media.
So please go to the social media page. Thank you very
Yep,
much.
no problem.
Mr. Johnston, can you talk about your various mini podcasts when your next episodes are?
Well, this coming Saturday, Sunday, I'm sorry, I'm coming back with an episode of the Married Life podcast. Again, it was the podcast me and my wife started, and I am continuing it on. So, Sunday evening is the episode Can We Talk, where we talk about communication and how communication continues even after the marriage. Keisha, I would love to have you and your husband on an episode soon. I will be reaching out to Chris or to you as well. Same with you, Callie. I would love to have you and your husband on the show soon because I'm my next season I'm doing episodes with guests. So I'm having rotating guests. So I'm doing episodes with guests. So I would love to have you ladies as well as y'all significant others on. Because two of my episodes is military couple and a couple that's in business together. So y'all will be perfect. But yeah, Sunday is Can We Talk? I'm talking about Can We Talk on that. In the basement will be we coming back soon, talking about all things pop culture. And Dad stopped talking. As soon as the girls get situated in college, because they are college students now, as soon as they get situated in college, we're coming back with some more episodes of Dad Stop Talking. The next episode we will be talking about their music versus my music. So that's going to be an
Ooh.
interesting
I
episode.
would
Interesting.
love to see that one.
So
When
so
I tell
keep
y'all
an
it
eye
is,
out.
go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead, Chris. No, I'm just saying keep an eye. The announcements will be coming out soon when the episodes where we're going to be on social media as well as YouTube.
When I tell y'all, you have to go to the YouTube page to look at their first episode. and look at the interaction between the three of them. It you need something to laugh at. That is something that is genuinely wholesome, but it is funny as all get out. Courtney, talk about erotic nights.
Yeah. Well, before I talk about Riding Nights, Keisha, I love that T-shirt. Yoo-hoo, love it.
Oh yes,
But yes, I
Oh,
have a
shut up,
podcast
Kevin.
as Chris said, I has a podcast called Erotic Nights, and our next episode is actually tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, and it is the gender reassignment episode. Could you or would you be able to date somebody that had a sex change?
ooh,
And Chris and one of our other good friends, Sean, well, you know Sean Kelly, he's going to be a guest on there. And Mr. Johnston, if he's available, will probably be a guest as well. So if you can tune in, definitely tune in. It's going to be a great
I will
show.
be tuning in. Every time
Yeah.
Sean is involved, I have to go in and see it because he's my bestie.
Yes, yes, yes. We're going to be talking about this. I got some deep questions to ask them. Make the seats hot.
Oh
Now,
boy.
Kaylee, tell us where in the great United States you are.
So I am in Camarillo, California. It's SoCal or Southern California. So I'm actually my husband is stationed at Point Mugu, which is right next to Malibu on the Pacific Coast Highway. So I live about 20 to 30 minutes from the Malibu area and then about an hour drive to LA. Which is amazing. I grew up in Virginia. I lived there for about maybe 28 years, all things, combined. I've lived in other places as a military brat, of course, but I gotta say, they have to drag me out of here kicking and screaming. We don't pay for school supplies. There's like 17 parks in our city. The community is incredible. And there's just really something, like you get what you pay for. My taxes are insanity. However, it really does go into like the children and free lunches and school supplies and helping the community and all of that.
I need to
Um,
move there.
I'm saying
Right, yeah,
I
right.
will never go back ever, never. I've lived in
Kids
a
will move
bunch of
in
places. I
Cali.
lived in Hawaii, but Southern
Let's load up the
California and
trucks.
this area specifically, um, this year is different. It's the hottest year we've had on record, and the high is still 80 degrees. Usually around this time of year, the high is like 75, 80 max. Except for that heat advisory we had, but the lows are like 60 and 70, like at night during most of the year, except in the winter. Sometimes it gets a little bit colder, but I'm telling you, the weather is beautiful. It rarely rains. Being in this area, everything's like close together. The only thing that sucks is the signal, but there's so many opportunities like work and education and meeting people, and even the people are nicer. We talk about Southern hospitality, but it has nothing on the West Coast. The people are just generally more accepting, like nicer. Um, I'm not like you guys in the sense that I have any like podcasts or anything. I'm super busy all the time. I have my own like little small business on Etsy, making like bookmarks, stickers and things like that. I've considered doing a podcast. Um, Basically like why are humans like this, but all kinds of different topics, like
I would definitely
taking
take
things
that.
like sex, relationships, parenting, child development, trauma, attraction, religion, culture, weird human behavior, and looking at them from every single angle. How do they work
Do
in the
it.
brain? How did they work, biologically in our bodies and psychologically? Where did it come from historically? How were we raised to understand it? What do we know now? And most importantly, what the hell does it feel like to actually experience it? Like taking something apart that we all think we understand, pulling it apart like a raccoon with a garbage bag, throwing some science and history at it, and then asking, okay, but does any of this explain why it feels like that? So like educational, but nobody's allowed to make it boring. And like I
do
had
it.
one question and accidentally spent 6 hours researching gravity. And my first question was only, what happens, like what causes earthquakes? When I was, looking at the news about a megaquake, and all of a sudden I went down a rabbit hole, and 24 hours later I taught myself the basics of physics. So like
You'd
So
be surprised. Like you watch one thing and
yes,
then you just end up a totally different
yeah.
place. You're like, how did I end up here?
You're like, I asked about earthquakes and then plate tectonics and then the Earth's core and then gravitational pull and then mass. And then all of a sudden I'm like, how come I didn't learn this all in high school? And the answer is not everybody learns the same and they teach to one crowd of people. And if you don't learn that way or you're neurodivergent, you don't learn those things until later when you already have like a systems idea of how things work. But yeah, sometimes I'll start at earthquakes and then end up in Victorian marriage practices or why my car is making that funny noise or so
It's
it's an
impossible.
idea.
Hmm.
Exactly. But it's something interesting because my I don't want to say purpose, but like one of the things I've felt really good at over time is being able to meet people where they're at. So being able to have a
Yeah.
conversation with somebody and understand like, okay, can I swear in front of them? Can I be vulgar in front of them? Do I need to keep it professional? Do I need to keep it on paper? What kind of experiences do they have so I can explain this in a way that they're going to understand and help people connect the dots and kind of like pull at the thread, of these questions. Like, this is what I think I understand about it. Turns out I'm kind of close, but the reason is completely different. Um, so yeah, but
Well, and I think that kind of a podcast, there's a niche for it. So look into
Mhm.
it.
I will
I'm
definitely
quite
watch it.
sure you'd have some folks like I'm in for chaos like that. So I absolutely love it. And Sean says that a conversation with you is never boring. So thank you
never.
guys so much for joining me this evening. Be on the lookout for the next Coffee and Tea podcast. You will be seeing all of these people again at the end of the season. Hopefully, all of them will be available, so we can
Just let
kind
me
of
know when.
we can
We'll pencil
rehash
it
this
in.
conversation. Yes, and kind of finish what we didn't get a chance to touch tonight. So thank you guys again for staying up with us and hanging out with us on this episode of Coffee and Tea. See you next time.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.